Pretty hard to concentrate with all of these distractions, isn't it? These sounds, along with notifications on your phone screen, have made it almost impossible to stay focused for young and old alike. The popular documentary, The Social Dilemma, says social media is a drug. Just like any hard drug you can get your hands on, social media can cause addiction among its users. Today we will be talking about how social media has become a huge problem. First, we'll talk about how much of a problem social media is becoming. Then we'll talk about the causes of this problem. And lastly, we'll talk about the measures that must be taken to solve this problem. Social media, which started off as a simple networking platform, has lost control and grown into an addictive abomination that consumes the time and lives of all who use it. A journal on cyber psychology states, quote, "Human beings have fundamental needs to belong and to relate, for which interpersonal communication is the key. In recent decades, with the development of information technology, especially with the rapid proliferation of internet-based social media, the ways of interpersonal communication have drastically changed. The ubiquitous social media platforms and the easy access to the internet bring about the potential for social media addiction. Namely, the irrational and excessive use of social media to the extent that it interferes with other aspects of daily life. Social media, seemingly a harmless way for us humans to connect with each other, has become a huge interference for many in their daily lives. If this problem isn't solved, social media addiction can cause some serious damage to people's lives. According to BMC Psychology Journal, social networking has a negative impact on physical and psychological health and causes behavioral disorders, depression, anxiety, and mania. Many elements can spawn from an addiction to social media. Now that we've spoken about the main issue at hand, we will now go over what causes this problem. Social media addiction has become such a big problem because it exploits the current state of youth. It is extremely accessible, and giant tech companies use algorithms to manipulate what each of us sees. Many of our young people today see unrealistic expectations of what life is supposed to be through social media and the internet. This increases feelings of insecurity and can cause people to shy away from real social interaction and double down on their social media usage. According to the International Journal of Mental Health and Addiction, an important study found that a significant positive association between insecure attachment, anxious and avoidant, and a more intensive and dysfunctional use of the internet and social media. Findings demonstrate that those with insecure attachment appear to use the social media sites as a way of replacing and compensating affection that is missing from those around the individual. Social media easily capitalizes on our youth's feelings of sadness, insecurity, and loneliness. Notifications and attention from friends on social media is like a quick hit of a drug and makes people feel better. This can easily spiral into an uncontrollable addiction. One of the biggest reasons why social media addiction has grown out of control is because of how accessible it is. An international journal on qualitative market research states, especially in developed and developing countries, the development of the Wi-Fi network and the fact that 60 to 95% of the young adults all have smartphones and the rapid increase in the number of applications developed for smartphones are the factors that cause the growth of social media usage of people. Pretty much everybody in the world has smartphones, whether you're young or old. Access to social media on these phones is as simple as clicking a download link. Another huge cause of social media addiction getting out of hand is that the people who created it made algorithms which manipulate users into spending more time on it. According to a website called The Fix, social media apps use something called algorithmic filtering. This is one of the most powerful tools that social media sites use to keep people hooked. Sites like Facebook, Google, and Twitter are constantly tweaking complex algorithms and monitoring users' responses They update how they filter information in order to maximize users' engagement, so the aim of these sites is to get more addictive over time, increasing how many people use them and how often. With the use of these algorithms, the social media companies take the control away from the user. We've gone over the causes to the problem of social media addiction, and now we can talk about the solution to this. The solution to social media addiction is broken up into age groups. For children, parents should monitor phone usage and limit the amount of time spent on social media. Schools should have programs to increase awareness of this issue as well. The Indian Journal of Community Medicine states, quote, "Parents should be proactively involved in the child's upbringing in preventing the excessive use of social media and consequently the development of adverse health effects. Parents will do their children a favor by keeping an eye on their children's phone habits. For adults with mild addiction, self-discipline and limiting use should be enough." The Washington Post states that the goal of treatment for this type of addiction, unlike for many other addictions, should be controlled use rather than abstinence. In the connected world we live in, it is simply not feasible to prohibit someone from accessing all smart devices. A simple increase in self-control is all that is needed for adults who suffer from social media addiction. For more crippling addictions, an intervention group is necessary. Now, social media addiction is indeed a widespread issue. We've talked about the serious issue of social media addiction. We went over some causes of this issue and how to solve it for good. Thanks for listening, guys.